Hello, welcome to another program in the series Homo Politicus. That's a flagship show on Enterprise TV here in Lagos. And let's interrogate this issue. Why the price of a bread loaf remains high. The Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria, PBAN, rules forex volatility. Now, a loaf of bread, as insignificant as it appears, has become a staple in our climb, but a crippling rise in its price appears not ready to stop soon. The Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria, PBAN, says the increase in the price of bread is caused by a volatility in the exchange rate of the national currency, that is the naira. Now, most of the materials used in producing bread in our country are imported. The president of the association, that's PBAN, Emmanuel Onwara, has pointed out that baking materials which are imported are priced in dollar. Away from this, the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, who are major suppliers of wheat, a major ingredient and component in the production of bread, has largely impacted production. Mr. Onwara also alluded to the removal of fuel subsidy and currency reforms in affecting bakery business in our country as a whole. Now, the importance of bread in Nigerian diets cannot be overstressed. It also has a cultural significance too. A corollary to this is to recall that in April of 1775, many years ago, bread riots, also known as the Flour War, broke out in France. Bread, I should stress, is a big deal in France today. And to take this home, therefore, our country, it would seem, appears headed for a bread crisis if nothing is done to stem the rising prices of the staple known as bread. Remember the saying, one cannot think well, live well, sleep well if one has not dined well, otherwise eaten well. We don't need a food crisis now, or do we? Let's go there. My discussant is a personable Tumi Olowe. Tumi is a chartered accountant and a national affairs analyst. I greet you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, to me, bread is a staple. It has become a staple in the country, and the price keeps rising. You and I know what I'm talking about.
Well, there's a general price increase across across the markets
Yeah.
in Nigeria, and of course the reasoning for that is not far-fetched.
All right.
Well, subsidy in petrol, the subsidy has been removed from kerosene and diesel sometimes back, but petrol that just happened, and then the devaluation of the naira or the weakening of the naira against the US dollar. And just like the bread, premium bread association said, wheat that is 60% of the cost of
That's it. Yeah.
is majorly imported. Though Nigeria has a wheat program.
Okay.
So the federal government has a wheat program to encourage
as a stopgap measure
not
to fill the void.
Not to fill the void, but to domesticate. Now, if this 60% of their costs is not sourced from outside,
okay,
the cost of bread won't go up.
Yeah, yeah.
So you see,
it's debatable to me. Because you agree that there's a general price increase.
Because the complaint of the people also growing wheat in Nigeria is that they do not have, they're not getting competitive price for their products.
Competitive pricing is also a problem here.
So they don't really see any reason why they should keep or increase their cultivation of wheat. So
yeah,
there is a dilemma that is, we can't blame solely on government.
Okay.
or the people. And really, if you want Nigeria to grow, the government and the people must play their part. It's just so important.
But let me ask a quick question here. Is wheat, is our soil type friendly to wheat cultivation, would you say?
Yes, there are particular strains of wheat that
Okay.
can be grown in Nigeria. And Kano is that, especially the northern part of the country.
Okay.
Kano is the biggest grower of wheat in Nigeria
All right.
as we are now. Now the problem is subnational governments are not filling their
What?
whether in the state government.
State governments.
Now we have,
For that matter, local governments.
and for that matter, local government. The federal government has a huge problem.
Okay.
How has those states that can benefit because of the natural condition,
Okay.
how have they
Taking
tapped
advantage.
into
Okay.
this? So the thing is, the federal government will not plant wheat by itself. It's still farmers through their state. But the state could create cooperatives for farmers. Now that subsidy has been removed and the state government are getting more money, how are they using those extra income to encourage the wheat farmers in the north to increase cultivation and to ensure that they get competitive pricing?
Sorry, otherwise what I'm getting from you is simply that we can solve the problem.
Yes, we can solve the problem.
No,
Now, wheat is not a 1 year. Most of the food problem we have: maize, rice, wheat. These are farm produce that you can cultivate around the year.
Okay.
If there is proper utilization of irrigation.
Yeah.
I mean, maize 3 months, wheat probably another 3 months. That means if you have proper irrigation, you can do 4 cycles or 5 cycles in a year. Recently,
the important thing is to have the will to do it.
Recently, we heard the report of flooding in Borno State. If we were using those dams appropriately, I doubt if we would have excess water that will now overrun. Because you see, Nigeria is naturally endowed. We have rainfall, we have enough water bodies, we have dams.
And the climate is not harsh.
We have dams, but really, where are the farms? We can say security and everything, but you see, that too is a function of both national and subnational governments ensuring that they play their own parts.
Okay.
Because once you take out food problem out of the equation,
the worries of money,
we can now sit back and like, okay, what other things can we do?
Yeah.
I was going to.
After all, we will be speaking from a tummy that's full.
And if we can increase our wheat cultivation to satisfy local demands, maybe the excess can be exported to neighboring countries.
Yeah.
And then whatever actually will be an advantage for us with this Russia and Ukraine war going on.
Yeah.
That means there are gaps in the markets that we can fill.
That's it. Yeah. It reminds me of the Middle East crisis of yore.
When we have crude oil now, the Gulf War windfall. Unfortunately, that windfall was carried away by the wind. He never
went with the wind.
He went with the wind. So subsidy has been removed for
premium motor spirit. Yeah.
That subsidy can in the hands, because they are getting the subsidy is now going to state governments. The state government should
take advantage,
encourage their farmers to tap into this. I was on X yesterday and I saw a Nigerian farmer announcing that he has moved from exporting 25 kilograms of smoked fish to 1 ton.
Wow.
That is fantastic, because from 25 kilograms to 1 ton, that's a huge leap. The off-takers,
is a quantum leap.
the off-takers came to inspect his farm.
Okay.
Remove their orders from 35 because they were satisfied with what was it. So it means that we can do good things, we can do great things, and get markets beyond ourselves.
And so beyond wheat, we will be worried about yeast, which is a component.
And that's where people that are, because we go to school, we study a whole lot of subjects. People study food technology. They can produce.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's what he did. He produces yeast, baking powder, stuff used by bakers. That's what he does.
So it can be sourced locally.
So people like that should have access, and that's where intervention comes. We can be shouting government. Now, where government comes in is, are there the
enabling
environment, financing options to help people like this to scale their production. Because we can solve our problems. Now that's just one individual. Imagine having 2,000-3,000 such individuals
spread across the country,
exporting and meeting local demands. We have states that we call food basket of the nation. How far are they actually meeting that appellation of food basket? It's not recently that it is states started going back to the farm.
Okay.
I mean, it stays small, but they can still add their own quota. So in every state, I think it was Niger, the governor started with facing agriculture. Now, if there are deliberate efforts like that from states that are endowed with huge land mass and goods, we start.
Do you know? I'm thinking of Kano. You mentioned and Niger State.
Even Kwara.
Yeah. Okay.
Plateau, Nasarawa.
Yeah.
So it does need to encourage our farmers.
So put simply to me, you are telling me the answer to the question is feasible. The answer is with us.
It is with us. It is with us. Now, the European countries that we look at that are in IMF, World Bank, and everything, they may not have subsidy on energy, but they have subsidy on food. They ensure that their farmers do not get tired of going to farm. So they ensure that they have competitive price for what they are producing, and they take off in case the you remember the mad cow disease issue like some 15 years back. The government had to ensure that they cover the loss of those farmers. So ensure that food is not in short supply.
That's it.
It's the essence that they now, it's the essence that we have, that they ship to us and we keep buying with our hard-earned foreign exchange. If we reduce now with the liberalization in the oil downstream sector, we want to believe, Nigeria is very foreign, that the demand for forex, for oil importation will go down, so that there will be more for other critical components that we are still not self-sufficient in. So if that is maintained, and we ensure that in agriculture, which if we are diligent, both governments and cities, that means another 2 years, that's 24 months, we can reduce our dependence on food imports and turn it around to people that were doing cocoa in the last 2 seasons have been cashing out. It's flow and air, but that's our life. It is flowing towards them now. They are making quite a considerable amount of money. But the question also is, how far has the government gone? I know the government has a whole lot of program for people exporting cocoa. This export expansion grant that they give them for volume imported. So if these things can be done transparently, to bring in more farmers into those food camps, it will be so nice. the people doing cigarettes in Nigeria, they have a program for outgrowers. They have a whole lot of farmers planting tobacco for them. So we don't need to go far to look for how these things are done. Just use the template that they are using for their tobacco farmers, and then let it work for rice farmers, maize farmers, people doing wheat, people in now. Apart from breadwinner, the egg producers, the poultry people are also telling us
they are more in the news than chickens themselves.
So the thing is, we can help ourselves. We can continue to complain. Now the person
because complaining is man's man. The Nigerian loves complaining.
Yes,
but they say the answer to the question is staring us in the face.
And that's why I was so happy to see that report filed, that gentleman yesterday, on the increase in his export quantity from that means
25
kilogram to 1 ton. 1 ton is 1,000 kilogram.
Wow, that's
so 25 kilogram, not 25. It wasn't doing good. It was doing 25 to 1,000. I mean, even if it is 1 pound that they are paying for, if you now convert his pounds to naira, it's huge income to him. And that is the direction. So things are possible. Examples are found.
Let's begin to take this home. So what could we tell Emmanuel Onuoha and his P-ban?
Now, they are a pressure.
Okay.
Because their produce affects a whole lot of cities.
Yeah.
They should pressurize the government to ensure that those growing wheat locally are supported, because that's 60% of, though maybe we all like playing together, because when you look at the report for them, their cost is increasing, but also their revenue, they are making money.
Well, they are making money.
But that means
to consider that a loaf of bread about a year plus ago was about 300-400 naira. Today is over 1,000.
Yes. So as it is increasing, they are not really making a loss. They are still making profits. But it shouldn't be them alone. Just like our banking industry, our bankers have started declaring billions as profit. But then you ask yourself,
how did you get there?
Where are you making this money?
How did you get there?
Which assets have you created for entrepreneurs in Nigeria that they are paying back to you? So that there are those anomalies in our economy that we are not asking the relevant questions. So the bank school should explain to us.
Yeah.
How much have you given out to support?
To me, you can understand the interest of Homo politicus in this matter. So in taking this home, therefore, wheat, which constitutes about 60-65%
of the input
can be grown in Nigeria. So what we need to, and we have the soil that's agreeable to it, and so all we need to do is rejig the incentive.
Transparency on the part of government and on the part of the people that will benefit. A whole lot of money was spent in the last government on rice production. Unfortunately, rice the price of rice still keep going up. That means, of course, what we have is a whole lot of people took that and did not really use it to fly price. And that's the problem. So governments can give you money.
So you are looking at what they say in soccer: you kick and follow.
You kick and follow.
When you kick the ball, follow it.
So you give me loans to people. You have to ensure. And I think instead of government, maybe government is not doing it right per se. Let those loans go through our commercial banks so that they can be held responsible for the failures of, because they will do proper monitoring of the people they are giving money.
Okay.
This money coming from CBN, everybody just saw it as our own share of national.
Yes.
But if it comes a loan to the bank is guaranteed that loan to its customer. If they are not paying back, they will be debited by CBN. So the money would not be a loss to government. So instead of doing direct intervention from government to, yes, you are doing it single digit. Give the banks, let them put their own spare. At least let it stay within a single digit, and then give the farmers.
That is having to do with wheat. Another important element in the production of bread will be yeast.
Yes.
So you say
Baking powder, these things can be manufactured locally. We have a whole lot of people that studied food technology.
Agronomists,
Yes. So
agriculture,
let's have
and so on.
Let's have and then we need to stop this doing business by our own. I may not have enough money to scale up like that. So let's learn how to create cooperatives.
Yes.
Farm sets, farm settlements for people like that to be within a community where they can have shared services to reduce the cost, and then ensure that banks can cater for their financial requirements. These things can be done. We have Dangote refinery today. A whole lot of support was given him by government. Whether we want to,
so you're expecting him to give back?
He's already giving back by employing a whole lot of Nigerians. And when they are done with their policies, one thing we can be sure of is we will not have questions. Yeah, the price may not be perfect, but we would be expecting to say goodbye to period of no fuel in the country. Because that's what the refinery is just on the corner.
Yeah. So put simply, the fear that a flour war or war over bread can be tamed.
It can be tamed.
Is soothing news to me.
It can be tamed.
So in closing, please talk to the president of PBAN, Emmanuel Onoa.
Well, the pressure group, as I've said, and they should find the right way to use the leverage they have on government
to get what they want.
And ensure that the citizens are also happy for it. You see, in times like this, opportunities are found. Maybe if we tone down on our complaints, we might just see those opportunities in front of us and then we can tap into it.
Okay. All right. And I'm from the Homo Politicus angle. I'm saying there may not be a food crisis if we tackle it from the root. Don't forget, one cannot think well, live well, sleep well if one has not eaten well. So we don't need a food crisis. To me, Olowe, I have felt more fed after listening to you, and thank you for that. So there'll be no bread crisis in the country if we behave properly.
Definitely, not only bread, a whole lot of things. We had this discussion about palm oil. I don't buy palm oil. Just because of 20 trees that have been planted some 80 years back.
Okay, you are reaping the...
And that's just 20 trees. Imagine if
you had a plantation, say 5-10 acres. Okay. Which is saying we can fight the food crisis.
Yes, definitely.
We can.
All
right, so to PBAN, I want to say, if you have been thinking, think again. There's a way out of the mess. So we thank Tumi Olowe for your time.
My pleasure, sir.
So our show is up. Thank you. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, this is your sincere citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye and thank you for watching.